What if you could hear a strange, unexplainable noise that no one could identify? In Taos, New Mexico, residents have been haunted by a mysterious hum for decades and no one knows where it's coming from. Back in the spring of 1993, something strange started happening in Taos, New Mexico. A low, persistent noise that no one could figure out began bothering the residences. They call it the Taos hum. It wasn't just a few people either. Many residents claimed they could hear it. Scientists were called in to investigate, but despite all their efforts, they couldn't find any clear source for this mysterious sound. Imagine that, a week-long study, but nothing concrete came out of it. But what was it? Some people describe it as more of a feeling, a vibration that seemed to be coming from deep within the earth or somewhere close by. Others said it was like the sound of an engine idling in the distance or a pulsating noise that wouldn't stop. It was hard to block out too. Covering the ears didn't really help, and some even reported side effects like headache, nausea, and fatigue. The Taos hum isn't the only strange noise people have reported around the world. These mysterious hums have been heard in different places and they've left people puzzled for years. Like in Auckland, New Zealand back in 2006, Tom Moore and Massey University made some recordings that seemed to capture the Auckland hum. They found that this hum was around 56 Hz, which is a pretty low frequency. It wasn't just some random noise either. Moore had done research before using simulated sounds, so he had a good idea of what he was listening for. Then there was the Windsor hum. Late in 2011, people in Windsor, Ontario started hearing a low, droning vibration. It was just a few people complaining either. It got so bad that one evening in 2012, officials received 22,000 reports about it. This sound seemed to be coming from the Zug Island, an industrial area on the north bank of the Detroit River between Windsor and Detroit. Canadian officials even asked the US for help figuring out where the noise was coming from, but they hit a wall when they couldn't get access to the island. There was a steel mill there, run by the US Steel, and then some thought that it might be the cause, but the company said no new equipment were installed around the time the noise started. Interestingly, when the blast furnace was shut down in April 2020, the noise disappeared. So was the steel mill the cause? It seems likely, but there is no concrete proof. These hums aren't just limited to North America. In 2021, people in Frankfurt and Darmstadt, Germany, started reporting strange hums. A year later, they tracked down multiple sources for the hums in Darmstadt. It turned out to be a mix of things: two faulty air conditioners, a broken heat pump, and some structural noise from energy plants. So it wasn't one big mystery, but rather several small issues causing the sound. The phenomenon continued in 2022, with hums reported in St. Louis County, Missouri, and the surrounding areas. Then in 2023, a hum was heard in Omagh, North Ireland. These reports show that the hums are a global issue, with different places experiencing them at different times. But what about the US? After the study in Taos, another study was conducted in 2003 in Kokomo, Indiana. Just like Taos, hundreds of people reported hearing a hum. Some even blamed the hum for other symptoms like headache and dizziness. But despite all the complaints, researchers couldn't find a clear cause for the noise. Cohen, who led the investigation of the Kokomo hum, noticed something interesting. He saw similarities between the findings in Kokomo and those in Taos. By comparing these two cases with other reports from around the world, researchers hoped to finally pin down what was causing these noises. The term hum might be a bit misleading. Not everyone who detected it described it that way. In fact, the press and researchers just adopted the word as an easy way to refer to these strange, hard-to-identify sounds. It became an umbrella term for a noise that didn't have a clear source, but only some people could hear it while others couldn't. The idea that only a small fraction of people can sense these hums makes some folks skeptical. Could it really be all in their heads? Cohen didn't think so. He believed that those who reported hearing the hums weren't just imagining things. According to him, these people weren't mentally stable, as some critics might suggest. Instead, they were likely sensitive to something that most others couldn't detect. But what exactly was it? That's the puzzle scientists have been trying to solve. What was also intriguing is how these hums seem to cause different effects on people. For some, it was just annoying. For others, it triggered a range of unpleasant symptoms. Yet despite numerous studies and investigation, the exact source of the Taos hum and others like it remained a mystery. The Taos hum study stands out as one of the most in-depth investigations into the mysterious phenomenon in the United States, with only a similar study in Kokomo, Indiana following its lead. The hum had become such a pressing concern in Taos that it prompted a joint effort involving Los Alamos National Laboratory, Sandia National Laboratories, Phillips Air Force Laboratories, and the University of New Mexico. The study began with a survey of the Taos residents, and guess what? Out of 8,000 people, 161 reported that they could hear the hum. That's about 2% of the population. But here is where it gets interesting. The hum wasn't just one sound. Some people described it as a whir, others as a buzz, and a few actually experienced what could be called a traditional hum. So it wasn't just a single noise bothering anyone. Researchers then took things a step further by enlisting these hearers to inform them whenever they could detect the hum. Why? So they could try to link the reports to collected data by monitoring equipment which was set up to track the sound, seismic activity, and electromagnetic fields. But here is the twist. Despite all this technology, the study didn't find anything conclusive. The source of the Taos hum remained elusive. The only notable find was an elevated electromagnetic field in the town. But it was just linked to the power lines and wasn't considered a big deal. So what could have caused the Taos hums? The source is still a mystery, but there are few theories worth considering. One idea is connected to that elevated electromagnetic field. Even though it's not seen as particularly significant, some studies have suggested that the human brain, much like pigeons, dogs, and turtles, might be sensitive to magnetic fields. In 2021, scientists confirmed that living cells can indeed sense magnetic fields, but so far, there is no evidence that this could cause something like the Taos hum. So, could our brains be playing tricks on us? Maybe, but there's no solid proof yet. Another theory dives into the inner workings of the ear. According to research published in the International Tinnitus Journal, people who hear the Taos hum might fall into a different category. They describe the hum in various ways, like sound of an idling truck, a humming transformer, a propeller plane, or a chugging boat. And where did they hear it? Some in one ear, others in both, or even alternating between ears or in their head. But here's the kicker. Some hearers reported that the sound and its location could change if they flew a long distance or even moved their heads in a certain way. This led researchers to term them as force interactive hums. Could this be a rare form of tinnitus? Possibly, but an FIH doesn't typically match a usual diagnosis of tinnitus, which makes this explanation a bit tricky. And then there is the psychological angle. What if Taos hum was more about the mind than yours? There is something called a mass psychogenic illness, or mass hysteria, where groups of people experience similar psychological or physical symptoms like fainting or even dancing. Yes, dancing. But in the 11th and 17th centuries, there were bizarre reports of a dance plague in mainland Europe, where groups of people would suddenly start dancing uncontrollably. Could hearing a hum be another strange case of mass psychogenic illness? It's possible, though no one can say really for sure. At the University of Salford, David Bogley's research explored ways to reduce the distress caused by the hum. He focused on using psychological and relaxation techniques. These methods helped people calm down, which sometimes made the hum quieter or even made it disappear completely. Geoff Leventhal, a noise and vibration expert, suggests that cognitive behavioral therapy could also be used. He explained that it's all about how you react to the noise, whether you tense up or stay relaxed. CBT worked with helping people change their attitude towards the hum, making it less bothersome. Despite all this research and different approaches, the Taos hum remains a mystery. Even with all the studies and theories, no one has been able to pin down exactly what causes the noise that so many people in Taos and other places hear. So what do you think is behind the Taos hum? Is it something natural, psychological, or perhaps even supernatural? Share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mysterious stories like this.